To April 14th City Council meeting. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That's all right. All right, we have some additions to the agenda tonight. Under the consent calendar, we have additional bills for approval. We also have, under the mayor and council members' report, a proposal to form a committee regarding city growth. We have scratched E5 under the city administrator's report, a memo dated from April 14th from Pat Weiner. Under public works, cemetery, and sewer, approval of a construction cost share agreement for the road, update on the lift station repairs / replacement costs, update on the ongoing sewer issue at Mad Rabbits, and a memo dated April 14th, 2025 from Pat regarding a 6-month probation. Under Parks and Rec, E, a request for council action dated April 14th, 2025 from TJ regarding the community center water softener, as well as F, memo dated April 14th, 2025 from TJ regarding review and recommendation for Jamie Stoltenberg. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns on that? Seeing none, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to set the agenda for tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those voting in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, public forum. This time is reserved for those persons who have a desire to address the council and have officially submitted in writing by Wednesday noon prior to the city council meeting. A request to be placed on the agenda. So, looks like first up we have Jordan Chenard. Is Jordan here? Seeing that Jordan is not here, we will move forward. Larry and Kathy Allen. You can just set that on the side. Is the...
Yep. I will have. My name's Larry Allen, 14036 County Road 36. This is my wife Kathy. We strongly oppose this land, well, we haven't even talked about it, but the land use map change from RR5 to RR2 in the Cunningham development on Highway 36. According to the future land use map, from the current comprehensive plan, how do we zoom in? There we go. Is it on? Working? Yeah. R2 on the map is labeled medium density, as you can see. R2, or medium density, is read in the comprehensive plan, page 14. The definition of that is this category includes low-density residential uses, including housing styles that range from single-family houses, attached or detached, to duplexes, townhomes, row houses, apartments, condominiums, and other dwellings that house more than one family in one building. Overall density is between 4 and 8 units per acre. That's from page 14 of the comprehensive plan. This residential use doesn't align with the neighboring properties or the scenic Highway 36 corridor into Cross Lake. This is a map, GIS map from the county of the area. This is the land that we're talking about. This will be better. This is the surrounding acreage of the Marx's family, and they have no intention of ever cutting it up. Both Tony and Brenda that own it, and their children, Eric and Tony. This is our land, and we don't have no intention of ever cutting it up, neither do our children. And this is state land, and this is Highway 36 coming in. So, a little background of all that. Finally, on page 15 of the comprehensive plan, it further states, it is important that readers, city staff, and appointed and elected officials understand that the future land use map is a tool that is general in nature, should not be used for site-specific decisions, rather a general guide for the development of the city.
I don't think so.
Sorry about that. Operator error. Question 1 on the finding of facts at the Planning and Zoning Board of Adjustment. Does the proposed plat conform to the city's comprehensive plan? Growth areas direct or guide development to areas that meet community goals and strategies. Identified growth areas, sorry, I'm really nervous. Growth areas are based on land characteristics, proximity to the urban services, and previous development. The following growth areas were studied and redefined. Growth area number 1. This area lies between Rush and McLean Lakes and along County Road 66. The area consists of vacant, commercial, and large lot residential uses. The potential future land use for this area consists of waterfront commercial, limited commercial, low and medium density residential development. Growth area number 2. This area lies north and east of the existing downtown district, adjacent to County Road 3. The area consists of a small amount of multifamily residential, rural residential, and a large amount of undeveloped and vacant property. The Crosswoods Golf Course lies within the growth area. The potential for future land use includes limited commercial along County Road 3 and multiple family and single family residential. Growth area 3. This area lies south of the existing downtown district along County Road 37. The area consists of small and large shoreland residential properties, as well as a small number of vacant residential lots. This area is relatively less developed than other areas that are adjacent to the commercial and downtown commercial areas of the city. Future land use for this area consists of low-density residential housing. Growth area 4. This area lies south of the municipal wastewater treatment facility along County Road 3. The area is generally zoned for commercial and light industrial uses. The future land use guides this area for similar uses. The extension of the municipal sewer to this area would allow for more diverse commercial and industrial uses to locate within the community. This proposed replat is not in any of these identified growth areas. This is from page 17 of the comprehensive plan. So, page 42 from the comprehensive plan.
Kathy, you got another minute.
Okay, I'll try to read faster.
Nope, you're all right.
Cross Lake has developed a culture of enhancement and preservation of its natural resources. It was noted during the planning process that these efforts have been instilled in the long-range planning efforts for the past 20 years. Cross Lake has the opportunity to become a leader in water quality and preservation of our region, and has the opportunity to teach its visitors about the importance of this trail. Page 50, Goal 2, promote quality natural areas, lakes, secure, scenic corridors, and open spaces to meet the community's existing and future needs. And finally, from page 42 again, people moved to Cross Lake to enjoy its natural beauty. It is imperative that we preserve this environment. This has been noted as an essential defining characteristic of Cross Lake. Thank you so much for listening. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next, Jim Burt.
I didn't know which way to turn.
No, that's fine. I turn it on mine, so.
Okay. Makes me nervous.
Ready when you are.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Jim Burt. My address is 37734 Donaldson Point, Pine River, Minnesota. Just a very quick history. I've been coming up here for, well, 70 years, and I'm older than that. Met my wife here, had my first beer at the Exchange. I have lots of relatives on the lake, including Father Mike Arms in Cross Lake. Anyways, what I'm here for is to talk about a development that I have, and I think everybody is familiar with it. We began with a piece, 16 acres, that was passed by the council from, there was a portion of it, 20% of it, that went from R5 to R5 to R2, so that was done. Now, there's an additional portion of land, 30-plus acres, that I am here to talk about, to go from R5 to R2 also. This is the development right here, and so, let's see here, where am I? The cul-de-sac is right there, so the existing acreage is south of that, and then this is the new development. You can see the lots, there are 12 lots with a park dedication in that corner. Everything is 2-acre lots. And so, I know what your ruling is R5, and there's been some R2 changes in the past, and so I really didn't know exactly how to approach this. And so, if you don't mind, I would I went to the Cross Lake Comprehensive Plan that was, I think, updated last in 2018. And if you mind, I'll be quick and just read a couple pieces. Housing plays a critical role in defining, this is from the plan in the housing area. Housing plays a critical role defining a person's quality of life. Residential land comprises of 22% of developed land within the city of Cross Lakes area. Housing is a visual indicator of community character, implying prosperity, vitality to the visitors who recreate. And I have, and I think everybody is familiar, wow, it recorded everything I said. What? Anyways, okay. It really did. That's crazy. And I did this because it speaks a lot more eloquently than I can. But as a principle of smart growth, the following element outlines the importance of creating a range of housing opportunity and choices. Building quality houses for families of all stages, income levels, integral part of smart growth approach. Housing constitutes a significant share of new construction development in any city, but its economic importance is sometimes overlooked. Adding housing in commercial districts can breathe new life into these neighborhoods, evenings and on weekends, and more importantly, the housing options available in a community will influence families' economic opportunities, cost of living, how much time they spend commuting each day, diversifying housing options with existing neighborhoods. They can give everyone more choices about where to live. As Cross Lake continues to grow, new residential neighborhoods need to be created without compromising the character of the community. just a couple more words. Communities in northern Crow Wing County are likely to attract a larger proportion of mid-age and older adults that want to take advantage of the significant amenity value of the lake's areas and may look for more affordable or upscale single-family homes. The housing goals that were listed in that support the development of housing in neighborhoods that meets the needs of all residents, promote and incentivize traditional style neighborhood in areas that are within walking distance of the downtown and other activity centers. And you know where this piece of property is, and it's, you know, right off of the community center road on Wilderness Trail, and it's a jaunt to the community center and to the sport courts, and 7 minutes from downtown. And I think it's important too because there's a sidewalk all the way on that community center road.
You've got a minute.
Yeah, and it's another part that seems important is that it's already a 35-mile-an-hour driving zone, so it's not 55 miles an hour. So it just seems to make a difference from a community standpoint. And again, it just has a bullet point in there to consider zoning changes to allow mixed-use residential development in commercial districts and consider zoning code rewrites and updates to incorporate based zoning elements. I don't even know what that means. You know, just in terms of this project, it makes sense to me. And again, I know Cross Lake well, and I know the people of Cross Lake, and I know that there's been some bad press about me, you know, rumors I'm a developer in from the cities, and I'm far from that. I don't think I could pound two boards together. I'm not a developer. I'm not a construction person. This is property that I bought from Dave Nevin 18 years ago, and I've been sitting on it for 18 years, and my personal time is running out, and I just want to do something with the property, and it seems like it's a kind of a give back to Cross Lake, growing Cross Lake. And I don't even know if I need to say this, and I don't want to start down a bad road or bad mouthing, but a person that's living there, the White family, has really promoted against
Yeah, I was
this.
going to say we're pretty over, but wrap it up.
Yeah, and
wrap
this
it
is
up.
a wrap up. This is a wrap up. And I just wanted to say that I sold them 2 acres of my lot.
That's
to
been
buffer-
stated. It's been
Yep,
stated.
And I sold another 3 acres.
Thank you, Mr.
A
Burt.
total of 5.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, Derek and Kara, you've got 7 minutes.
I'll do it in less than that.
Even better. Even
Anyway,
better.
Derek White, 37990 White Pine Trail. I'm going to take up a lot less of your time here simply because we've dealt with this situation ad nausea. You've gotten plenty of letters from me. You know that I'm opposed to changing that land from R5 to R2. There's been 13 homes done, or 13 lots slated on the south track of that land, which is plenty. Don't know that any have been sold. Don't know what's going to be built there. Haven't seen any building plans. Haven't seen a water runoff program, anything on that. So, you know, I've been to enough planning and zoning meetings that if somebody's trying to build a shed and put a roof on it, planning and zoning puts them through hell, okay, to figure out where the water's going. Yet these guys go and do the land and nobody just passes on through. So what I would like to just state is I would like council to seriously consider, as I put in my letter, think about what you want to do with Cross Lake. I think that a lot of this infighting and everything else that's going on, whether it's R2, R5, and you heard from the last couple too, the problem is there is no comprehensive plan that's updated on where this community is supposed to be going. Do we want all these residential homes? Do we not? Do we want some? And I'm not opposed to it. You know, there's already been an approval, that ship has sailed for the 13. And if you leave it as R5, you can put another 6 homes back there. That's 18 homes. That's a lot for the community. So it's not like there's none being built, there's quite a few being built. So I just want the council to think through, you know, I've been a business guy for a long time, worked at a lot of corporations, been a leader, and let me tell you, everything we do is a strategic plan, and then the decisions are bred out of that. And what I'm seeing with planning and zoning, and then with the council is decisions are being made on a case-by-case basis with no long-term vision for the city. So come up with a long-term vision, articulate that out to the public, let us know what that vision is, and then as these decisions are made, they would make sense with that particular plan. Right now, there's just not. And I just ask that you put a pause on this. There's no rush to do this. Like I said, you could still build 6 homes back there on that north track of the land. There's 13 that still have to be built. God knows what those will look like, or if that'll even work. So just put a pause on it. Let it stand at R5 for the moment. It doesn't take away building options for the developers back there. It just limits them to how many homes. Every developer wants to put as many homes as they can on there. So I just ask that you take that under consideration. Okay?
Thank you, Derek.
a wrap.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
242, look at you.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, seeing that there is nobody else, how do I stop this? Seeing that there is nobody else on public forum, we will move, We will move into the consent calendar. All right. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to pull on the consent calendar?
No,
I don't.
I'd like to move to approve all the notices on the consent calendar.
All right, there's a notice to approve, or a motion to approve the consent calendar. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Jamie is a second. Any other further conversation? Seeing no further conversation, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. The consent calendar is passed. All right, next, mayor and council members report. So first, we're going to start off by, at the end of April is Volunteer Appreciation Week. And in Cross Lake, we have a bunch of wonderful volunteers throughout our community who help make Cross Lake what Cross Lake is. So I thought it was appropriate to give Alden, who is our park and library and pal and just all-star volunteer throughout town, and you represent what all of us appreciate in town and what we see from you. You are kind of the spearhead of all the volunteers in Cross Lake. So I thought it was appropriate to award this to you and all of our volunteers, Alden. So as the proclamation states for the City of Cross Lake for the National Volunteer Week, whereas the City of Cross Lake is proud to celebrate National Volunteer Week as a time to recognize and honor the individuals whose dedication, generosity, and spirit of service to our community is stronger, more vibrant, and more connected. And whereas we are deeply thankful for all of our volunteers whose selfless contributions make our city's projects, programs, and services possible. And whereas we recognize and appreciate those who volunteer at our Cross Lake Community Center, serve at the polls to uphold our democratic process, contribute their time and perspective on city commissions, and help lead fundraising efforts that support and sustain city projects, whereas many of our volunteers contribute not only their time, but their talents and expertise, helping to put city projects into action, offering valuable insight during planning and brainstorming creative, thoughtful solutions to our community challenges and opportunities, and whereas we also extend our gratitude to those who serve in our community service organizations, enriching the lives of our residents and adding immeasurable value to the social fabric of Cross Lake. And whereas the collective impact of volunteerism in Cross Lake is a testament to the power of community, compassion, and shared purpose. Now therefore, I, Jackson Purfirst, Mayor of Cross Lake, do hereby proclaim the week of April 20th through the 26th of 2025 as National Volunteer Week in the city of Cross Lake, and encourage all residents to join in celebrating, recognizing, and thanking volunteers who give so much to our community. So Alden, we wanted to give this to you, so come on up as a thank you for all your time and effort and your late wife's effort in the city of Cross Lake. So thank you. Here you go.
thank you very much. I'm really humbled by this award because, as Jackson said, so much of the community is based on volunteer work. And just think of all the nice things we have, big and little in the town. You know, the community school came from a group of volunteers that decided they wanted to do it. We have so many other things that have happened. The money, people come and they donate their time, they donate their leadership ability, and it's really pleasant for me to be in a community where this happens. As you said, Jackson, so much is done. And just think of what has happened in the past, what's happening now, and what's going to happen. We're going to have the Loon Center. We're going to have the trails we're going to talk about tonight. What a big thing for the town. All came, as you said, Jackson, by the volunteers. So I'm proud to be part of this group that serves Cross Lake.
Well, thank you, Alden, and once again, thank you to all of our volunteers. Thank you. All right, D2, the application for public fireworks display on Cross Lake in front of Zorba's on May 9th. This is this is in conjunction with the governor's fishing opener. This is just the insurance waiver in the application. So I need a motion to approve that, please.
I'll move to approve the application.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Ms. Sylvester. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor vote aye or say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Resolution accepting donations. So we have some good donations in here. And we always have good donations, but this one's a little bit bigger than usual. So the McPherson family donated $50 to the park department. And there another anonymous donation for $25 for the park department. The Cross Lake Firefighters Relief Association, $1,634.95 for jackets. The PAL Foundation, $7,544.21 for the park department. Another PAL Foundation donation for $10,396 for pickleball. And we have a Sourcewell donation here for $2,000 to boost the funds for the library book event. Is there any other further discussion on the donations? Well, I thought that was a Buka event, whatever Buka is. I thought it was a misprint. I'm sorry. Me too. All right, seeing there's no further discussion, those in favor vote aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
And who made that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Oh, hey. Great. Moving right along. Commission appointment. So between EDA and Patty Norgard and Kathy Allen, I had talked with Kathy Allen last week, and she would like to serve as a alternate on EDA, and I really think that Miss Allen would be a good choice for EDA with all of her prior history of Cross Lake. So I am making that a recommendation. If I could have a motion on that.
I move to approve that.
Thank you, Bob. We have a second from Jamie. Thank you. Any further discussion on Kathy Allen's appointment? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Good job, Kathy. You're welcome. All right. Update on the council dais. So I think this goes back either one meeting or two meetings. We were talking about redoing our front council dais here for just functionality of being on top of each other and everything else. Yeah, huh? And talking. Pat did get a quote, and it actually came in pretty cheap considering we're all going to have our own desk. It's going to be in a U shape. We're going to have all the labor done here, and the boys are going to do all the work, and that came in right at about $6,000.
Where is the money?
So the money would come from what we accrue on our interest off the 4M account.
Okay,
So we accrue roughly $5,000 a month off that investment account.
okay. And that isn't designated to go anywhere in particular?
No, it just
Okay.
piles up, and then at the end of the year, it gets reinvested again. It goes back into the account, right? Is that my understanding of it?
It does get reinvested, and when we get our audit back, it's
put to the appropriate accounts, whether it's the general fund, the debt, or the sewer.
Perfect.
And if we don't utilize the interest, we could utilize the building maintenance that is in the budget as well.
Perfect. So we have two sources of available funds. Is there any discussion on that?
Well,
Amy, Rob, Sandy?
I hate, spending the taxpayers' money, frivolously, but I do feel like communication is very difficult.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I
Right.
mean, if we could alleviate that issue, I think that would be
No, I think so too. Bob?
Jackson, will this be built to accessible standards?
Yes, it will be. So they're going to put in a raised floor. We're going to keep this the same height. They're going to put in a raised floor with a ramp, and then, yeah.
Okay, how long will it take?
Pat?
Well, the game plan is within a week or two. We'll pre-build as much as we can down at our facilities, and then we'll bring it up, set it up, and get rolling. So a week or two, no more than 2 weeks, we won't have anything.
What's going to be done with our current desk? I mean, I'd hate for it just to be, I mean, it's.
We're going to put it in your garage for a bar.
If only there were room.
Kidding, kidding, kidding.
I mean, is there some way we could utilize this elsewhere in the city?
Yeah, we could probably put it in the basement, in the EOC in the basement.
Okay. I just hate to waste it.
Oh, no, I agree. I agree. Robin?
Yeah, where do we get the quote from? Who is the vendor, or is it a,
It's
We went
right,
through Build-All here in town.
it's in that yellow folder that's flying around here somewhere, right here.
Sorry, okay.
Top secret, don't tell anybody. Go ahead.
An improvement has been discussed for at least a couple of years since I've been coming to these meetings off and on, so I think it's about time we go ahead and do it.
No, I agree. We're always kind of doing the push back, pull forward action, trying to talk to each other. So,
I've just, TJ just informed me that they could utilize it at Parks and Rec.
I have no idea if it would work with the size or just the shape of what we have here, but our countertops in our pavilion at the park are looking really sad. So I was looking at putting some numbers together for next year's budget anyways, but if we could
Yeah.
repurpose these, it would be a good idea.
good idea, TJ. That's great.
So is this.
No, that price does not include leather lazy boys. No, it doesn't. Because we have tall chairs. I know.
So for
I think
Mayor?
we'll keep these and they adjust. See, yeah. Go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, for full transparency, the build-all quote does not include the countertops, but
They,
talking to Pat, it sounds like we would double just the $2,789. So that's the quote for the material.
and if we look at the bottom, that's where it says 6,000,
roughly.
including other stuff. So roughly $6,000.
Are you looking for a motion to move?
I am looking for a motion to move forward.
Make a motion to move forward with the new dais.
Perfect. We have a
Second.
motion. We have a second by Bob. Any further discussion?
In light of the fact that we can utilize this elsewhere in the city, I think it's a good idea.
All right. Those in favor, vote aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Perfect. All right. Now, Ms. Farter, Councilwoman Farter, this is you, number 6.
Oh, well, given the nature of the open forum, this is especially relevant, I think, but first, I just want to say that I take my responsibility serving the city very seriously, and I know my fellow council members do as well. And many of the decisions that we are asked to make carry with them consequences that will affect the city for years to come. That's become especially evident during the last year or so with increasing requests for approval for new developments, requests for zoning changes. And personally, and I don't know about the rest of you, but sometimes I feel ill-equipped to make these decisions without a clear, well-delineated vision of our city's goals, priorities, and how they can practically be achieved with the land and resources that we have available. I think that we drastically need a strategic city growth plan to serve as a reference. Derek, you kind of preceded me on this, to help validate the decisions we make. I know we have a comprehensive plan, as was stated, but it's based on broad goals as opposed to really clearly defined a plan. And I think if our decisions were based on something like that, it would garner greater support and credibility with our residents. So in light of this, I'm proposing that we create a committee to prepare a roadmap, I know committee, but it's a horrible word, but to a roadmap for our city's growth. This committee would consist of city staff, including Lori, our city administrator, our mayor, TJ from Parks and Rec, who already has fabulous vision for our community, Paul, obviously, from Planning and Zoning, a couple of well-established business leaders that have already agreed to participate, and also Cindy from the Chamber has agreed to help when needed. These people have all generously agreed to donate their time to participate in this endeavor and to put legs to this vision, as the late, great Jim Anderson would have said. So I'm just looking for council's discussion on this, and
Yeah.
I'd like to get this going rapidly, efficiently, and not take 6 months to do it. But
No, I agree. When you and I had talked about this the other day, I thought it was a good idea, and after the last EDA meeting, kind of wrap up from the email, and it seemed like there was 4 or 5 different ideas going in one direction. I feel like this is a good way of bringing all those ideas and going forward.
And Patty from EDA is also going to participate. We're going to collaborate, so we're not working at cross purposes, and we all share the same vision moving forward. So.
Go ahead.
Sandy, I think this is an amazing idea. I've been referencing back this document a number of times, and I'm very proud to say that from a mixed-use discussion that we've had in the last couple of months, we achieved something in the plan. I looked for guidance today and through the weekend on all of these discussion on the 2R, 5R lands, developments. And I just was really interested in seeing what was our plan? How many houses did we gain? How many permanent home residential buildings do we currently have? Did we meet our goal from when we set it back in 2018? And it appears, surface, we did meet our goal. So it was a wonderful benchmark. But I'm tossed. These next couple of topics that we talk about on our 5R2, it's going to be tough discussion, and I just really think I want to see it collaborative with the community. So I want outreach and have open houses so people can be engaged and be part of it, not just a small committee. So I think it's a great idea.
This would be a big undertaking to start. So go ahead, Ms. Clerk Nelson.
I just want to put some perspective on that comp plan.
Yep.
When it was approved, adopted in 2018, that was one council's vision.
Right.
2 years later, different council. That book got put on the shelf and never looked at again.
Yeah.
And that could happen with any comp plan, any visionary plan that we do. So we need to hopefully, I don't know.
Well, and as I said, I agree with you. And as I said, like a comprehensive plan, I mean, it's great, but I think it's too broad. It doesn't give us like something specific that we can follow. And we need something more closely defined, and hopefully, future councils will abide by it as well.
Bob, any questions or comments?
No, I think it sounds like a good idea, but I also take to heart what Char said, what's
Right.
going to happen 2 years from now or 4 years from now, so you could be starting all over again.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm in favor of it.
I'm in favor of it too.
When you say council, you mean you and Jackson, right? Okay, all right, just making sure.
Good idea, Sandy.
I got one comment.
Go ahead, Paul.
And I agree, I think this committee would be great. I do think this committee should be geared towards the comprehensive plan, making changes to that comprehensive plan, because although, to Shard's point, it doesn't get looked at or utilized nearly enough, our comprehensive plan is still our city's policies, and even, in a court of law, they will take that comprehensive plan into account. And so really, to be changing our city's policies, we really need to be making changes to our comprehensive plan. So just as this committee is formed, it really should be a committee to look at our comprehensive plan, so we have that backing. So I just wanted to make that
I think
one
we can combine those two
Yes.
efforts. And the EDA is also trying to rewrite their comprehensive plan. So that's why I thought if we can collaborate and kind of pull it all together, it would be really valuable.
You're growing in your position, Paul. Thank you for that insight. Appreciate it. All right, Sandy, where do you think you want to take this from here? How do you want
Well, I
to, how do you want to start?
Well, I think we should have a motion to create this committee and get it moving. So I'd like to make a motion that we create a committee to establish a well-defined city growth plan.
I'll second that. Any other further discussion or insight from any council members?
Nope.
I just want to make a comment, Paul, off what you stated. I think it's important that these documents should be living documents. We should be utilizing them and at least keeping track of what we're accomplishing or what's kind of causing us angst. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Seeing no further discussion, those in favor, vote aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Somebody make a second?
What?
Did somebody second that? Sorry.
Jackson did.
I did.
Okay.
I did. Mayor did.
Okay.
Sandy, now moving forward, do you want, how about you and I talk offline on how we
Sure.
go about it?
Let me start.
Sounds good. All right. E2, John Mobeck and the National, nope, hold on, sorry. City Administrator's Report / City Clerk Report. Number 1, the second reading and the approval of ordinance increasing number of on-sale liquor licenses. Shar, or
It's,
just,
It's
it's
been
pretty
read.
straightforward.
Yep.
It looks like we're going from 11 to 12, so. Is there any discussion on that?
No, I move to amend the ordinance.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion?
Who's the 12th one going to? Who's it for?
Is it?
It should be.
Matt Roberts.
Okay, that's fine.
Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. E2, John Mobeck and the National Loon Center with the Group Transient Merchant Permit.
Is he here?
Yeah.
There he is.
John, come on up.
Thank you. John Mobeck, 34454 Park Drive, Cross Lake, and National Loon Center. So I wasn't sure if you were going to do an update first, but I just wanted to talk about the Minnesota Loons and Lakes Festival. The permit, which I candidly don't understand completely. Group Transient Merchant Permit was what we are applying for. And do you have anything to say about that? Or either one of you? Because I wasn't prepared to talk about that.
I just thought it would be a good
You
time
want
to have
it.
you up there. The group, I mean, they want to have like a craft fair, food vendors, and so in order to do that, they just need to, like Cindy does for the festivities, she fills out one of
Okay.
those also. So
Great.
So I apologize for not knowing more about that, although I think it's a very worthy cause.
it's just routine.
Very much so.
I'll move to approve the application for group transient merchant permit for the Loon Center.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? John, you want to throw any last minute comments on that?
So it'll be real quick. So we're really excited about the Minnesota Loons and Lakes Festival on June 21st, June 20th and 21st, but the 21st is the day of this event that we're just talking about. We'll have more than 35 vendors exhibitors from across the state, all of which are celebrating both the return of loons, which of course the loons and chicks will be out on the water, and we'll celebrate our responsibility as stewards of these great resources we have here. It's a great event. I hope you'll see a bunch more about that coming up. And then one further thing I wanted to say, because I know we'll talk about the governor's fishing opener, but we've just had an opportunity with 3 different manufacturers for the first time ever to provide this governor's fishing opener. Everybody involved in it will have lead-free tackle that's provided by these manufacturers who are going to make sure that we're walking the walk in terms of Cross Lake being a place where responsible fishing, angling, boating occur, and we're really grateful to those manufacturers. So you'll hear more about that too, but again, it's just another way for Cross Lake to show that it's leadership in the state.
John, what's going to be happening on the 20th? I know the 21st is the vendors and what's happening on the 20th?
The 20th is a bunch of paddling events and kind of what we would call passive or quiet recreation,
Okay.
non-motorized recreation. So there's canoes, kayaks, and those kinds of activities happening on the 20th. So it's all lake-based. And then the next day is the stuff at the town square where we'll have all these exhibitors, the fair that was just mentioned, and this great transient group merchant permit.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. And then I look forward to the next topic as well, if I'm needed.
Yeah, you can stay right there if you want, so just hold on. All right, seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, now the recommendation from the Public Safety regarding parking and a sidewalk at the National Loon Center. Jake, do you want to speak on that a little bit first, or? I'm just trying to figure out where this because it kind of shot out of your committee.
I got passed on to us by his committee.
Well,
we could just let's let it
All right,
slide.
let's just,
I can talk about it. What's that?
yeah, let's have Bob and Robin take the wheel on this one.
There was a discussion by the Public Safety Commission about parking and sidewalks at the Loon Center. Basically, we didn't think it'd be a good idea for people to park on the east side of Pioneer Drive and be walking across the street with traffic going up and down there. So they suggested no parking on the east side of Pioneer Drive between Ace Hardware, Heritage Way, and Swan. And then people will be parking on the west side, and we thought it was a good idea to have a sidewalk there between Reed's and Swan Drive.
Yep, absolutely. So to the extent that I could say anything about that, because I didn't know about this conversation before, so
Yeah, right.
off the cuff again, but I would say we would agree with that precisely. I think that's safer, and that would be the intention anyway. The parking that we have significant parking available anyway, so I don't
Right.
think there's a need for, really to do much on the street, but keeping them from crossing the road makes sense.
Right.
Ms. Sylvester, do you have anything to add on that?
I don't, other than it has come up in a couple of different committees, and so it wasn't sure for us who
Who's gonna
takes
go
it,
to, right?
whether it's planning and zoning, or it's safety, or
Well, we
public
found a
works.
way.
We were kind of tossing it up, so.
We found a way.
Well, we figured if the sidewalk, runs that whole length of, on the west side of Pioneer Drive, and at least joins up with the asphalt of Reed's parking lot, that's the road right away, right next to the road. We could paint some sort of a line or something and no parking along there, so people actually have a clear path to meet up with the corner
Cool.
behind Bar Stock Liquors, and then it'd meet right up again with the existing.
So much for you not knowing.
I didn't say I didn't know anything, I just said,
Gosh, look at you.
Yeah.
Pat, just a quick question. The sidewalk, I'm trying to envision it going down in front of Whitefish. Is that the same width as the new sidewalk on 66, or is it a little narrower?
It's a little narrower.
The plow still fits it, right?
Yeah, we got
Can
it
we
figured out how to do that.
just make sure that this new sidewalk is the same width as that sidewalk, so the plow still fits it and you guys
I
can?
think ADA is wider.
Okay, well, ADA trumps, so.
Right.
But we haven't really discussed the fact that the Loon Center is going to build a sidewalk? Is that
Yes.
clear to you,
Yeah.
John? Okay.
Yes.
Because that wasn't really clearly
Yeah,
stated.
I can
wanna
confirm
make sure,
that.
John, you're on that same page, so.
Yep, I'm on the same page with both
Okay.
of the things that were recommended, and that's
Okay.
our responsibility.
Go ahead, Paul.
And during the conditional use permitting process, this was brought up, and I believe it is a condition within their permit, it was to put in a sidewalk.
okay.
My understanding as
All right.
well.
So it did start. Oh, boy. Awesome. Well, hey, we got it figured out.
All right.
Is there any further discussion on the sidewalk? All right, can I have a motion to go forward with the sidewalk, please?
So moved.
There's a motion. I need a second. Sandy, you seconded it. Any further discussion?
This would also be the no parking on the west side of.
Correct.
Or,
Correct.
I'm sorry, east side.
Seeing,
Pioneer.
perfect. Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 4. Ms. Nelson, a special events liquor license.
Which came about with the topic of the Loon Center festivities. They asked 14 Lakes to serve alcohol at this event, and Cross Lake has never had a special event liquor license. So we are looking to add that to our array of liquor licenses.
So going forward, this would probably go for the St. Patrick's Day Parade, or not,
No.
sorry, street dance.
Well, nope,
No?
that's a one-day temporary permit by a nonprofit.
Okay, sounds good.
So
But
this,
hasn't there been liquor served?
I think there has, but,
Like
right.
Mosier's
and
Or
that's
is that
done
the
because they have a caterer's
catering license?
license.
Okay.
So this is This is unique.
Okay.
Okay.
And like the or the Knights of Columbus does the
Right.
one at ACE.
Yeah.
So they get their nonprofit one from the state.
Okay.
So this is one.
Cool.
Because 14 Lakes is not a nonprofit.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Even though the Loon Center is, 14 Lakes is not.
Gotcha.
So we're recommending that there be a fee of $200. And if the event has 50 or more people, they hire a police officer, a Cross Lake police officer, at a cost of $100 per hour.
Okay.
And we also are suggesting that they do that at the nonprofit festivities as well, such as the street dance at Ace Hardware.
Okay.
So those
So
are
we
the
need a
changes.
motion.
And Jake, you're,
So this is considered the first reading if we do this.
okay,
All right.
you're all in tune?
Yeah, they
So-
just brought this to me last week or something and asked about it. We'd
Okay.
be able to handle it.
Okay,
If there's no changes, then we'll bring this back to the next council meeting that we have for a second reading and approval.
cool. Sounds good. Any council members have any questions?
No,
Nope. All right, is there a motion?
well, there's no.
Oh,
motion.
first reading. I still messed up with that first reading stuff. All right, commission reports. Let's start at, so we scratched E5, F1. All right, first we're going to start with public safety, and Ms. LeBlanc, can you please give us a short-term rental update?
My pleasure. Mayor and council members. So I am the admin assistant for the police department, and I was also tasked with being the admin assistant for short-term rentals. So Chip is doing the boots on the ground work, and I'm mostly doing the paperwork side, although he is helping me with that. We're working in conjunction. So on March 4th, Chip and I had our go-live meeting with GovOS, which is the company that we hired to build our platform, which is the same one that Crow Wing County uses. So our STR owners in Cross Lake would be familiar with the platform. We did accept paper applications and payments in the meantime until we launched our website on March 17th. We did send out notification letters that were created by GovOS. We sent emails and letters to those that we did not have email addresses for. Those went out on March 16th and March 21st. It should be noted that all STR owners that we had in our system that we received from GovOS were either sent an email notification or a letter, and as those gave instructions on how to create their online account. So even if we did get an application from 123 Main Street, we did still send them a letter because they had to set up their online account with their unique account number and activation code. I got many reports that most of the emails from GovOS were never received because they went to junk or spam. And then approximately 5 letters came back undeliverable, so this has been quite a process in notifying people. We also found out that Sundance Ridge is classified as a resort, so they are not short-term rentals. They provided the proper documentation for that. So 9 of those rentals were removed or marked closed on our system. I did get calls from 4 owners after receiving the letter stating that they were no longer renting, so they were removed from our system as well. We will still be monitoring all the active listings to make sure that they're not just saying we're not renting, and they still are. And then one person called and stated they received a letter by mistake. We investigated that, and that was the case. The previous owner, they had bought the residence within the past couple years, and the previous owner decided to throw up a listing for a couple weeks and didn't get any bites and took it down. That still got flagged in the GovOS system and sent to us as an active STR. On March 31st, Chip and I made the decision that we should move our April 1st deadline to May 1st. Once the online platform opened up, it kind of skyrocketed. We were getting lots of applications, and Chip was getting inundated with requests for their fire life safety inspections. So we decided collectively to move that to May 1st, with the condition added that STR owners must acknowledge receipt of notification and schedule their inspection by the deadline date. So they still need to be in contact with us. As of 4:30 PM today, 41 STR owners that were sent letters have yet to give any sort of response to us. We have 119 active GovOS accounts, and to date, 41 licenses have been issued and signs have been ordered.
And are you happy with the way the platform is working?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, there have been some bumps and bruises, but again, that's to be expected, and we kind of, discussed that this first year is going to be a little rough as we all navigate it, but everyone, for the most part, has been very good to work with.
Great.
Sweet. Thank you, Jen. Any other comments or questions from council members?
How many letters did you send out total?
I don't have that number in front of me, but with at least 119. I would say anywhere from 119 to 130. And that takes into account, the 9 from Sundance Ridge, the 4 that are no longer renting, 1 received by mistake.
Remind me of the procedure we go through if we know somebody is an STR, but they're not complying.
So if someone has an STR and they're not complying, they still have until that May 1st deadline as of right now. That's for existing owners who were previously registered with the county.
Right.
So, like I said, we have 41 owners on our list that we are going to keep an eye on and their listings.
But what happens when we get to the 4th of July and these people haven't complied?
We won't let them get to the 4th of July. After May 1st, that's when we'll be sending out letters, notifications, fines, that sort of thing.
And somebody's going to enforce that?
Yes.
Okay.
Go, Jen.
Perfect. Any other questions?
Okay.
Go ahead, Chip.
There's a lot that have not done anything yet.
Should we be
That
preactive?
that know about it.
Or should we be proactive and kind of give them another nudge this week?
I don't think so.
It's not our responsibility.
Cool.
Yep.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
I feel in this process that I have gone above and beyond at
Oh, you
reaching
have.
out to people, reminding them, hey, you've done your inspection, but we don't have your application. Hey, you haven't created your online account.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it has to come down to personal accountability of the short-term rental owners to know this ordinance and know what's happening in their town, and that's been
Yeah.
discussed many times.
Perfect. I hear you. We're not running a daycare, so.
You said it.
I said it, not you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, all right, seeing no further discussion, is there a motion? Thank you for your update. All right, another memo dated from Jake regarding illegal sign placement in the road.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. In the past several years, the illegal placement of signs in the road right-of-way has exploded. Private companies are sticking advertisement signs on every street corner and at the end of every driveway they do work for. This is a planning and zoning issue, a public works issue, and a public safety issue. I have been requested to speak on behalf of all 3 of our departments. Minnesota State Statute 160.2715, Subdivision 9, and Cross Lake City Ordinances 42-22 and 26-863.3 covers the placement of signs in the road right-of-way. Not only are these signs unsightly, when they are placed in the road right-of-way, they interfere with certain operations of public works employees, such as mowing ditches and other road maintenance activities. From a public safety standpoint, they can interfere with the driver's visibility and be a distraction for drivers. There have been signs placed on street corners that significantly block the visibility of a driver to see oncoming traffic before pulling out into the roadway. There have been drivers pausing at intersections or stopping in the roadway to read the signs and write down phone numbers. These signs can also lead to criminal activity. Last year on Election Day, political signs were placed on the road right of way, and the police department was inundated with phone calls to have the signs removed. This led to theft, damage to property, and almost led to a possible assault.
Oh, yeah.
The police department has been requested to enforce these city ordinance and state laws. We will start by assisting Public Works and County Highway with removing illegally placed signs from the road right of way. We will document and notify the owner of the sign and verbally warn them of the offense. Any subsequent sign placement after the warning will result in a citation. Thank you.
Perfect.
Any
Thanks,
questions?
Jake.
Yep.
Any questions? Nothing? Good.
Nothing. You're good. You're good. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right, Pat, you're up. We have a memo here for a crosswalk access.
What was brought up was the, goodness, now I can't think of the name of the store. Simply Rustic, floral design. They had somebody that wanted a crosswalk put in to get across there on 3. I immediately got a hold of the county because that is their road. And they said they will not put a crosswalk halfway through a block. It's obviously because you end up doing 10 of them if you have that many businesses there.
Yeah.
One thing they said is down the road, maybe we want to look at a sidewalk on the south side of the road, but for right now, the county said nothing. They said no way to the crosswalk. So it's, we'll have to have a motion on that to accept that we're not going to do that.
Any questions or comments from council?
We went through that 3.5, 4 years ago, and we initially did the crosswalk signs, the flashing lights, and the county at that time said, absolutely not, nothing in the middle of the block.
Right.
Had to be at the corner, so this is consistent with that.
Yep.
Well, I could see how it could be like a safety concern with, stopping traffic, but.
And Pat, we did discuss in committee that just be helpful to the person that found it difficult to get across the alternative route. Unfortunately, was go up, right, all the way around the roundabout.
Up around the
And the back.
roundabout, or you gotta cut across by Ace
Yeah.
and come down the road.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Pat. Do we have a motion on that to accept that?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Rob and a second from Bob. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, Pat, seal coating the trails.
Seal coating the trails, we had a bid with chip seal, the old standard way we, would do it. That was $109,000. So I reached out to this Mike Schaefer. So he's got $11,961 and $27,248. And it's a different type of sealing. It's a clear coat they put on, and it actually has sand in it, so it's not slippery or anything.
Cool.
And we'd like to try this on these 2 roads, because obviously the price tag is easier to swallow, and it's an experiment.
And these are on the trails, correct?
And they did Franson's Bank here in town, and they did a grocery store down in Baxter, and they did the Franson Bank down in Baxter too.
Have you looked at those?
I looked at them, and Phil, you've looked at them. Super One, there you go.
Yeah, okay. I'll move to approve this proposal.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconded. Is there any further conversation or discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, Harbor Lane improvements.
We had the bidding on that. Phil, did you want to talk about the numbers on the Harbor Lane deal?
Sure.
Phil, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
So on April 3rd, we opened the bids for Harbor Lane and the trail improvement. We got 7 bids, which is awesome for a simple road construction project. The
Great.
low bid was by Dechantel Excavating, $519,068.99. Far below our estimate. Actually, there was a lot of good news there because most of the bids were within about $620,000. The only point I guess I raise is $519,000 on the low bid. The next bidder is $598,000, so the low bidder came in low. They can do the work, but we're going to be extra mindful that they're looking to just do the work and not make up any of the stuff they left on the table. With that, we want to recommend award to Dechantel Excavating. With your approval, then, we would put together contracts and get them moving forward.
With it being that low, do these guys have a good track record? I know that might kind of be.
Well, you know what, they do. Well, let me put it this way. They have great subcontractors, so they're using Anderson Brothers to pave the road, to build it. They're using a legitimate contractor for the concrete work we have.
Okay.
Disha and Cattell can do the work. I wouldn't have hired them for the 3 and 66 intersection and pedestrian stuff, but for this, with the team they have, I'm not concerned that they won't get it done.
Did they
Okay.
give you a time frame?
Not yet. So with your approval, then we put the contracts together, we have a pre-construction meeting, and that sets the time frame for doing the work.
Okay.
Phil, on the bid, when we advertised for it, did we give them a window? I think we clarified a window of time. So that we could give them a little more
If you recall,
leeway.
we talked about should we shape this from traffic? We came to the point of, we gave them the summer to start, whenever they want, but they get 45 construction days once they begin.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Robin. Is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. All right. Approval of construction cost share agreement for surfacing of the roadways with Crow Wing County. Pat?
Yes, that's just a standard deal for you guys to approve so we can move forward with all our work that's jointly shared with the county.
And it looks like the city's estimated cost is $499,569.26. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make the motion.
Robin made a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Sandy seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right, Pat, the update on the sewer issue at Mad Rabbits. Nope, sorry.
We got the lift stations first.
Yep,
We're
I was just gonna
let
say.
you Guys, be aware that there are some, you got the pictures there, it just shows standard wear on the pumps and different things. They have not got me a price back, but I'm sure it's gonna be all of $10,000. And we do have the money in the account for repairs. I just wanted you guys to be aware of that, but that'll be coming.
So would you like a placeholder for 10,000 then to spend?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, you can do
I'll
that.
make a motion that we put in a placeholder for up to $10,000 for the pumps. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you for the second. Any further discussion?
Where do they come from,
The,
pumps?
we use Getch out of Brainerd.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right,
and
update, go ahead.
The Mad Rabbit update is that stems from the ground rod issue we had last fall. They left a chunk of fiberglass in there. Of course, it was right over the Mad Rabbit's inlet. So we had to hire another firm to come in. They run a robot deal up and cut the opening up so because Mad Rabbit's sewer was completely plugged. The estimate was around $5,000. We have no choice, so it's already taken care of. It's opened up and they're good to go for business.
Okay.
Great,
Thanks for taking care of that, Pat.
thank you. All right, another memo dated from you, Pat.
Yep, for Riley Jordan and Dave Beckel, they're both coming up on their 6 months, and we'd like to have you guys approve them, put them on full-time.
I'll make a motion that we approve both Riley and David Beckel.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Just glad they're working out.
Yeah, yep.
They're awesome.
Can we clarify that to also add the step increase?
Oh, a step, sorry, yeah, then they'll get their step pay for that.
I'll reflect that. Who seconded, sorry?
I did.
You're
That's
good?
fine.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Good job. All right, Mr. TJ.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First item I have for you is just an update on what's going on. So, first off, the warming house, it was a controlled burn a couple weeks ago, and it was a great success, so thank you, Chip, for coordinating those efforts, excuse me. We have to let it sit for approximately 30 days before we can move it to the dump. But we're gonna move it around, kind of shift things around so we can start working in preparation for the build for the pickleball courts. I did talk to the contractor last week, Anderson Brothers, and it sounds like once Mother Nature cooperates and road restrictions are lifted, we can kind of get the ball rolling on those courts. Me and my staff, we have some prelim stuff to worry about, getting rid of the trees, moving some dirt, removing other items. So it's kind of one of those things where time is of the essence for us to get out there and we'll get after it. Lastly, we have 3 teams that signed up for our spring baseball. We have a T-ball team, Mustang, and Colt, and their season officially starts in May. So excited to see 3 teams participate this year.
Awesome.
Yeah. Moving into item B, I have a request for council action dated April 14th, 2025, to hopefully approve the proposed amendments to our library policy. I've been working with Karen on these. Nothing too major with those. Did everyone get a chance to look through it and
Yes,
take a peek?
and I know we went through this at Parks and Rec as well.
Yep. Karen could not make it here tonight. She is actually in New York. She wanted to make it, but it just didn't work out for her schedule.
All right, is there any questions or concerns from any council members on the library policy?
I do have a comment.
Okay.
Just the volunteer policy, there was a elimination on page 4 of the advisory board, and I did talk with you today a little bit more about that. Sounds like there really hasn't ever been a board. My thought was that we need to make sure it's clear that they're not all on their own, that there's a jurisdiction that they check in with destroying books or bringing in new books, just so that there's some checks and balance with the librarian.
What would you propose, or how would you like this to read?
Well,
Robin?
how we currently operate is Karen would talk to the volunteers. Obviously, she has direct contact with them. So any concerns or any changes that needs to be made, they would tell her, and then I meet directly with Karen.
Right.
And then we go to the park commission, try to come up with a recommendation, and then move it to you guys for
This is-
approval. We can try to work some verbiage
Yeah,
out
I
in there.
think that would be good, just for clarity for the reader, so they see that it's not the librarian alone on, without some support around her.
Yeah,
Well,
great. How would you like that to read?
Well, you said you could work through some language. I don't know if it fits under the volunteer policy section, or if it actually should be,
I mean, we can state something to the effect of any policy changes or changes within the library will be run through the park director and then directly following, go to the park commission for consideration.
that sounds good.
Okay.
I would make a motion to
I'll
amend.
listen to the tape and make sure.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on that proposed change from Ms. Sylvester?
No.
Seeing no further discussion, we'll vote on that proposed amendment, or vote on that proposed change. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Ayes have it for that change.
Thank you.
So with that change, now we need to adopt the full document itself.
I'll make a motion to accept the document with the change on, okay, what was just stated.
What was just stated.
Second that, Robin.
We have a second from Ms. Farter. Seeing no, or is there any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you. All right,
Thank
TJ.
you.
go
Moving
ahead.
on to item C, we have a request for council action dated April 14th, 2025. And this is regarding proposals for engineering services on CASA 3 for the trail improvement plan. And this is for the HSIP grant that we received. Both engineering firms are present here. So if you have a question for either one of them, I don't know if 3 to 5 minutes was agreed upon.
Let's just see if there's even questions first.
And then just that these did go before the park commission, and the recommendation was to move forward with proposing, to essentially bring both proposals in front of you tonight for your consideration.
Does council have any questions right now regarding both proposals? Is there anything that sticks out to you or that you want clarification on, or are you leaning one way, or we'll start with you, Sandy. Sandy, where are you at?
Well, it's my understanding that WIDSEF has been involved from the
Correct.
very get-go and
Correct.
have been pretty instrumental in getting some of the funding. So I'm inclined to grant them this
What?
contract just because of that. So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
Perfect. Ms. Sylvester?
There's just and I'm a numbers gal, just a minor, I think about less than 10,000, well, about $10,000 difference,
Yeah.
15. Was there, when you and the committee looked at it, were there any material differences between the two? Not on money, but on scope of work or detail of?
My group is not used to, we're fairly new to getting proposals in this commission. So we kind of went with the approach of, it was more of a communication, filling in the commission that these are the proposals that we're going to be in front of you tonight.
Okay.
So they didn't really get into the nuts and bolts of it. They left that more up to you guys.
Lori, have you looked at these? And
Yes, but I would really like for each of the engineering firms to come up and give why they should be selected.
Go ahead.
So we'll,
I mean, we'll start, take it away, Ms. Conway.
we'll start with Bolton and Mink, if you wanted to speak on behalf of your bid and estimate for the trail and why you should be selected.
Phil, do you want to oblige? Or are you fine? That's kind of why I was going the way I was going, but.
Happy to answer questions. I mean, honestly, our proposal's right in front of you.
Right.
It's complete, beginning to end.
I'm just.
You know our track record, so I mean,
Right.
I'm not going to try and sell our services. I guess I'm just going to leave it out to you.
I'm going to keep going with the process that I was doing. Jamie, do you have any questions or concerns or comments?
My only question is, why are we working with two different firms?
Yes.
So, TJ, do you want
Yeah, we need to give fair opportunity to speak on the proposals. Can we have the other vendor please speak? I mean,
No,
thank you.
That's okay. I was just going to wrap it up with that, but I was going to see where everyone was first, so go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Tracy Von Bargen. I'm a traffic safety engineer with WITSEF, and I've been there about 2 years, just getting to know me, I guess, is kind of a thing. And prior to that, I was Grant County engineer, and during that time, we implemented numerous highway safety improvement projects. I was on the traffic safety committee and a very proponent of traffic safety as a concept and as a priority. I currently work on safety plans across the state of Minnesota for various counties and local agencies. And you know, when I got exposed to this to some of the visions that Mike O'Connell and TJ had, it seemed like a great fit to come and see how I can help and how we can help. And this, maybe Jillian, you want to introduce yourself?
I will. Well, yes, thank you. Thanks for having us and the opportunity. We just wanted to come up to and introduce ourselves since we are new to Cross Lake, probably haven't seen our faces. But I'm Jillian Reiner. I'm a landscape architect at WITSEF, and I've been working with a focus on bike pred transportation projects for about 15 years. And so we were very happy to kind of team up, and as stated, I mean, we were kind of brought in because of some of our expertise in this sort of arena, and so we were sort of able to identify this project, but mostly in conversations too, kind of bringing forward a bigger picture for bike ped planning, you know, in Cross Lake and then beyond, so to kind of connect some of the other communities and things together. We were really looking at the bigger vision, and we were, to answer your question, I think we were sort of brought in just specifically to look at that. And I think with Tracy and I and Tracy's connections at the state to kind of bring this forward. But
You know, and the other thing I would say is in our proposal, we tried to be very, we didn't try to set the budget as low as we could. We tried to set the budget in a fair number, knowing that some of these projects get fairly complex. And whether they're archaeology, which I just dealt with on a project over in Grant County, or endangered species, or whatever comes up, you don't really know what's coming up. And we really owe it to the citizenry to develop a trail system that kind of blends in with the natural environment that's there, respecting their private property, and yet developing something like Jillian's in her landscape architecture, and something that's beautiful and usable long-term for the community, something you can be very proud of. And that's sometimes quite challenging to do that, and to get through all of that stuff and still deliver a project in a timely manner.
I have two questions. Number one, based on that comment, is there a possibility that you might come in under budget?
Yeah, I think that that's a very real possibility. I think we just set it up here because we didn't want to come back here every time something
Right.
changed, and then we have to get permission to add more fee or something to it. So, I guess, yeah, very fair question.
And based on this work, do you have like visions beyond this?
Yeah, I think that we helped TJ and the city apply for the SS4A planning grant, which is really for the whole Brainerd Lakes area, region actually, to do a traffic safety focused study for vulnerable users, bike ped. Yep, and so, we had the support of Crow Wing County because they applied for the overall grant, and then the city applied for that supplemental grant, and you have yet to kick that off, but I think that can be a great planning document to create a very uniform vulnerable users area. I mean, this is a great area of the state for that type of facilities, and look forward to, if that were to ever come about, to work with you on that as well.
Appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any further questions? Bob?
Nothing.
Jamie? I know you had one and went sideways, but what was your question?
So how did we get involved with two different, the engineering record of choice of the city is Bolton and Mink. How did they get involved with this?
Sure. So early on, Lake Foundation partnered with Woodseth to do some of these preliminary planning efforts. And then as the wheels kept turning and we got more serious with it, the Lake Foundation proposed to council to go for some of these grant applications like HSIP, SS4A, kind of put a plan together, prelim plan. So obviously they were interested in doing a proposal for this project.
Okay.
Bolton and Mink being our city engineer, we offered them to provide you guys with a proposal as well.
Do you want any more discussion?
Yeah, go ahead. That's
Well,
fine.
No, I mean, I love Bolton Mink. They've done fantastic work for us. I have no complaints, and, I think they're great. I just think this company seems uniquely geared and focused, on this particular project. So,
Any further? Go ahead.
Sorry, I have to ask the question because I come from the state. What's our responsibility to take low bid? Just for the clarity of myself, and is there?
What's that?
Okay, thank you.
Not professional services.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, do we have a motion on the floor? Go ahead.
Good evening, Mike O'Connell, 34088 White Oak Drive, Cross Lake, and the lead for the Lake Foundation. From my understanding, and I welcome it, that Lori and the city of Cross Lake provided it out for two bids for transparency as we look at these numbers. It wasn't required to do two bids because it wasn't a part of an RFO or whatever that initials is. So it wasn't needed, but I welcome that, and I also have a great relationship with Phil Martin and over the years, and Bolton Mink, and so respect that. As far as the Lake Foundation, Jamie, why I would, on behalf of them, recommend working with Woodseth Smith and Nolte on this is they strategically have been recommending these grants. The three grants they have recommended over the last year, we've been awarded all three of them. They volunteered the time to do those. We're not being charged as the Lake Foundation or the City of Cross Lake for that. And a part of the Lake Foundation's commitment to the Lake Trail Initiative is the difference of these bids. We would be working on building the funds to cover them. Woodseth Smith and Nolte in this specific scenario has helped me raise $125,000 directly to cover the city's expense of a 10% match and the soft costs of engineering.
Does the city have any cost in this? Then I make a motion, we accept Winseth's bid.
I second that.
Thank you.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Keep shifting over back and forth. All right, item D in front of you. It's an request for council action dated April 14th, 2025 regarding monitoring high-traffic right-of-ways. The Parks Department has been working with the Water Quality Group regarding some action items that we can do to hopefully prevent starry stonewort or any AIS issue in the future. Obviously, it's not a guarantee, but we can also take those certain steps to try to mitigate it in the future. So in talking with them, there are some right-of-ways that are used by businesses or private individuals to launch their vessels, and they are not monitored. So their thought was to just get 2 trail cams, and over the course of the next few summers, monitor their use. Number one, how often they're used, and number two, how they're being used and what vessels are being launched. I did have a meeting this morning with the PAL Foundation, and I talked about how much these cameras would cost. And they have agreed to cover this expense to pay for both cameras for $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Perfect. We had a good conversation about that.
I already have 2 of these same cameras up on our Nordic Ridge Trail just to monitor the use of UTVs and ATVs on our non-motorized trails.
Yeah.
They work flawlessly, so I have good confidence these would be just fine for us.
Perfect.
Move to approve the purchase of these cameras.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you. Just a couple additions here that came in today, I believe. Item E is a request for council action dated April 14th, 2025 regarding community center water softener. And over the course of 2 months, we've been experiencing some harder stains in our, you're probably flipping
Wonderful
through the pictures right now.
Wonderful pictures.
Yeah, you can show the folks in the audience the good one there. But
we're good. We're good.
the water softener is over or approximately 25 years old, so we've got some good life out of it. But I talked to Colin again, and it's at the end of its life.
Yeah.
We'd like to get those toilets and those urinals and those sinks back to
Yep.
good-looking order.
Tip-top shape.
So it would be $4,100. I got that quote provided to you in this request for council action. I did talk to Lori. This would fit under our, help remind me what it,
Maintenance?
the building maintenance
Perfect.
line item.
Clearly, you are in drastic need, so I.
Yeah, these
move
aren't
to
pretty.
approve the purchase
These
of
aren't
a
pretty.
water softener.
Sandy, you made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second from Robbins. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
To be honest, I was trying to wait to see if it would resolve itself or we could do something until the next budget, but it got to that point where I just, could not wait any longer.
Blue pill in there?
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
tried everything. Let me tell you.
Careful. Wow.
I don't know if we tried that one. Last item I have for you tonight is item F, and it is a memo dated April 14th, 2025, and it is a review and recommendation for Program and Facilities Coordinator Jamie Stoltenberg. And if you don't mind, I'll just read through this.
Go ahead.
Okay. In October of 2024, we considered splitting the Program and Facilities Coordinator role into 2 separate positions, one being the Administrative Assistant and Recreation Coordinator, the other being the Recreation Coordinator. Jamie was originally hired to serve as the Administrative Assistant, but we quickly recognized that she is capable of fulfilling both roles. Jamie has consistently demonstrated strong initiative, adaptability, and a positive attitude. She has quickly grasped the responsibilities of her role and taken ownership of key projects and programs within the minimal oversight of myself. Her attention to detail, strong organizational skills, and willingness to go above and beyond makes her a valuable asset to our team. I recommend that Jamie be removed from probationary status and designated as a regular, full-time employee of the City of Cross Lake. Additionally, I recommend advancing her from Step 1 to Step 2 on the 2025 AFSCME salary schedule effective April 21st.
I will make that motion that we promote her.
I'll second that.
Seeing there's a motion and a second, do we have any further discussion?
Jamie here tonight?
No.
She's not.
Okay.
I just want to say, I've had many encounters with her. She's fantastic, so yes.
Lucky to have her.
Yep.
Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thanks, TJ.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, TJ.
All right, here we go, the long part of the night. Planning and zoning. Paul, you're up. And then on these, on all of these, instead of doing a voice acclamation vote, we're going to do a roll call vote individually on every single one, so it's recorded in the record.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. It is an honor to bring tonight's main event.
Get a little more pep in there, Paul. Come on. MMA this.
All right. So we've got a number of things on the agenda tonight. Item number 1 is a second reading and approval of an ordinance amendment naming an unnamed road as Arla's Pond Trail and the approval to publish the ordinance summary in the official newspaper.
There's 3 lots on that road, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
And so by our ordinance, once you get over, or 3 or over, then
Yeah.
you need to create a road.
Awesome. Council, do you have any discussion or any questions or concerns on that?
No.
No?
Nope.
All right. I will make that motion that we approve the ordinance amendment. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, those in favor say aye. Aye. Oh, sorry. I lied.
Roll call.
We roll call. Thank you.
Robin?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, item agenda number 2 is the approval of a land use map amendment for Galloway, parcel 14320-764, from an RR5 district to an RR2 district involving 29.85 acres. And we'll need a council action motion tonight. This was presented to the Planning Commission on March 28th and was recommended to be passed by unanimous vote.
I was just going to say, thank you for saying that. Council, just as a friendly reminder, this originates to the council prior. We had said that we wanted to explore the option of rural residential too for places that it made sense. And we had all determined unanimously at the time that Mr. Galloway's residential subdivision made sense as it was already between 2 existing neighborhoods with very small parcels. So that is why we came up with rural residential too. So since that is an old council action item, I will make that motion to recommend to change it from RR5 to RR2.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Is there a recollection on the date when the council,
I couldn't tell you.
but it was pre this council?
It was
correct?
previous council, yes. I'd say this is going on a year.
Yeah, it would have been fall of 2023.
Yeah, so more than a year.
Yeah, I want to say that October, November timeframe. I couldn't give you an exact date, but I know it was that fall.
Roll call. Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Oh, and I'm sorry, can I add to that motion, can I add some recommended conditions by our planning commission? Native American burial grounds locations to be designated on the preliminary and final plats as that were to move forward. And then any Crow Wing County requests at the present or in the future to be solely the developer's financial responsibility, and any signage or any other development request to be the developer's sole responsibility.
What would like a Crow Wing County thing be, like a turn lane or something?
Yeah, if they needed, exactly, a bypass or a turn lane in there, if they thought the density was getting too high.
Okay, I'll amend my motion and accept. Bob?
And I'll second that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Or I should just be clear, are you still good with that vote, Robin?
Yeah, to do roll call.
I was just saying, you're gonna have to redo it again.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Moving right along.
Great. All right, item number 3, the approval of a land use map amendment for Rolling Hills parcel 140305540 from an RR5 district to an RR2 involving 33.6 acres. This was presented to the Planning Commission on February 28th and was recommended to be passed by a 3-2 vote.
So fairly split. Let's just go through this, I guess. We might as well just bite the bullet. Ms. Sylvester, what is your opinion of going from 5 to 2?
This is some really beautiful land you have here. I love that you have the 1 acre lots set up and established south, correct? If I have my directions right. As I toured it, we talked about looking at phasing it. Can you do some 2 and some 5? So your community grows, or gets more acreage. So you have the establishment of the 1 acre lots, a few on 2 acre lots, and I don't know if that's possible. What's that?
The Shoreline District.
So-
Yeah, we're good.
So that's just some of my thoughts on that. Beautiful property, though.
Sandy.
Thank you.
Sandy.
You know, I understand the desire for, more residential housing. I feel like that particular area, it's so wooded, and there already is another development coming south that nothing's been built on it yet, as far as I know. I just feel like we should take a pause on moving forward on this particular area. I just think wait and see what occurs with the southern aspect, see how it gets built up, see what our needs are. But I mean, you could still build there on 5 acre lots.
Yeah.
But I don't really see
No.
the necessity for changing it to 2 acres. That's just my personal opinion.
Sandy, I'll hop in. You know, I toured it with Dave, and it is absolutely gorgeous property. It's beautiful. I even told you, Dave, gosh, if I had the money, I'd love to have a lot back there. But, I guess I'm just worried about the topography in the hills of a 2 acre lot with trying to mitigate stormwater runoff and all that other fun stuff. So I'm in the camp of keeping it at 5 acres. Mr. Heelis.
Yeah, I don't know how to word this without upsetting somebody, but I do like the fact that it's 5 acres, but I also like what Robin suggested, where maybe a part of it could be R2. I don't know if we have to make that decision tonight, or we just keep it the way it is for now and see how it.
Well, Jim Burke could maybe come back and apply for certain parts of it to be
Right.
changed. But
Let's
I don't
let's
think- yeah.
finish this diatribe first, and then we'll go into that. Are you good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Jamie?
I'm in the same avenue as you and Sandy in that it's a big, beautiful piece of land, and the topography is very challenging. I went back there actually 3 different times. But I also think it's just not the right place for RR2. I just don't see it happening there.
Okay, so now since we kind of have a general consensus, Sandy, what's maybe your thought of trying to see for some reason splitting some of this to RR2 and RR5?
Well, I think they would have to come back with a separate, request. I mean, I don't think we can do it tonight.
No, I'm just seeing if you have appetite for it.
No, I've been back there too a couple times, and it is beautiful, and maybe there are certain sections that would work, but I just personally right now feel like, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Just as I stated earlier, let's formulate some really, delineated,
Jamie,
goals.
do you have any, maybe kind of penciling this idea of some RR2 and RR5 in there, or are you kind of more RR5?
More RR5. I just think it's, if you're gonna do that with one, you're gonna
You're gonna do it with all.
You're gonna get.
I
Then you
am,
have 30 acres divided into 2 or do into 3, because.
it gets too hard to split.
Yeah.
I'm in that camp. Are you 3 still in the camp of trying to come up with some kind of form of R2 and R3 mixed?
Yes.
I am, but I guess the decision here is RR2 or RR5, and I would have to lean towards RR5, because that would be.
Okay. I'm just trying to see if it's even worth entertaining the fact of trying to mix and match R2 and R5 in this whole parcel. how are you gonna come up with 2 acres and 5 acres, and where does the council think it's gonna be best? And there's just a lot of questions, and I feel like that's just gonna really delay the process of, it's either the whole turkey or no turkey, so.
Or a great question for your new committee.
Or, yeah. Great. Perfect. All right,
As long as
Sandy,
you're not on it, right? Yeah.
any last questions or concerns?
No.
Jamie, any last questions?
Not for me.
I'm good. Bob?
Nothing more.
Robin?
Nothing more, thank you.
Do I have a motion? I'll make a motion to keep it RR5 and not RR2.
I'll second.
Sandy seconded. Any last minute discussion? Seeing no further discussion, go ahead.
Well, I was just say, I just hope that the builders will entertain the idea of making them 5-acre lots. I mean, I think it'd be beautiful.
I think
I'd love
they'll,
to
I
have a
mean,
house on a 5-acre lot.
I agree with you. My understanding is they're still gonna develop as R5.
You know, more residences available, so, I mean,
Right.
that's just what I would pursue.
Perfect. Could you take the roll, please?
Jackson,
Yeah, yes, keeping
Jamie?
it RR5, yes.
Sandy,
Yes?
Robin,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right.
When you're ready.
Next agenda item is the approval of the official land use map amendment on parcels 14280-604 and 605, 606, and 607 from rural residential 5 to rural residential 2 involving approximately 23.9 acres. This was presented to the Planning Commission on March 28th and was recommended to be passed by a 3-2 vote.
So once again, another split.
Paul, can you, can I ask Paul to do something?
Yeah.
Can you kind of, I mean, looking at this map, it's really hard for me to like really picture exactly what's around this land, what, you know, can you describe kind of what's happening there?
And I can zoom out a little bit too here. I'll show you a couple diagrams. First, just the one that you see here. Obviously, this is the 29 acres right here. Most of this has already been platted, and I can show you the plat here as well. But everything to the southeast, going around here, is owned by an individual, the Marks family. And then everything up here is owned by the Allens.
Hey, Paul,
roughly.
not to interrupt, in your packet, can you please show the River Trail Road, because it shows all the other stuff around
Yep,
it?
and, yes.
And the plat.
This blue section right here. Yeah, on 29, that's that.
And so everything around that is
There we
zoned
go.
R5?
There you go.
There you go.
Yep, I'll bounce back and forth here, but this
Okay.
is the actual, well, this is the proposed plat. Hold on 1 second. Just want to make sure I've got all the right documents here. All right, this is what I was looking for. So this is the original plat. This was already approved, this is, the road's already halfway in, this is the original plat, and so they're looking to rezone these ones right here from R5 to R2. This one was, this is shoreline area right here.
Okay.
And then this would be the the asking of the R2.
I probably should have asked this before. Lot 12, is that coming in off County Road 36, or are we taking the Allen's driveway and branching off?
That
Wow.
is coming off of 36 right now.
Okay, because they're not using that new pave, or they're
They
not.
are not.
Okay,
no.
so that's
That-
just
there
off
was
36.
There was a somewhat existing driveway, and it did get
Okay.
approved by the council.
Thank you, thank you.
And so, yeah, they ask us for these 4 lots to go to R2. They're all currently zoned R5. And
10,
so as
9,
far
10, 9, 10, 11, and 12?
9, 10, 11, and 12, correct.
So that's what it is platted out to be as of now. Can you show what the proposed plat would look like, please?
So each lot would just be split essentially in half. So this
Okay.
would have been an R5, these two were an R5, these two, and these two. So we're going from 4 lots to 8 lots.
And roughly how many acres would those lots be?
Those are, they vary from a little over 2 all the way up to close to 4 acres. In fact,
Aren't these books just the best?
yeah, the smallest one I believe is 2.5, and then the largest one is a little over 4, I believe this one.
Okay.
And
In
then,
fact, on the size table over here, you can see square footage, but
If you can see that, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, to Sandy's point, you know, over to the right here is under one ownership. Over to the west is under one ownership. We do have a lot of R5 down here that are much smaller lots. And then over here are shoreline district, and then obviously just the limited commercial. So as far as the locality, there are definitely a number of smaller lots in the R5 that are surrounding, but there are also larger lots that are under, you know, ownership adjacent to. So you kind of have a mixture of
I know.
both.
Does council have any more fact-finding questions for Paul?
I have just one question. I believe it was at Planning and Zoning, they had talked about that this had been brought before several years ago, and it was denied. Do we know why or when?
We don't have any record that it was actually brought to, through the process. Was it a discussion many years ago? Very well could have been, but we don't have any record showing that it actually got to planning commission or city council and got approved or denied. So
Okay.
whether it was a discussion or not, I don't know, but nothing on record.
I'm kind of torn on this one because,
I was
you
just
know,
gonna-
there is short, you know, there are smaller, you know, lots adjacent, but then there are also larger lots, you know, adjoining it as well. And I understand that this was previously already, you know, platted, approved.
Yeah. A little bit of a bigger, you know, look, you know, Cunninghams is right here.
Yeah.
So you can kind of
Okay.
see some of the surrounding lots.
Sandy, since you kicked it off, Bob, what are your thoughts?
Again, it's just a beautiful piece of property there, and I understand why the 1 acre lots or whatever they are on the river. I understand the shoreline district and everything, but I would hate to see these other beautiful lots go to R2.
Couldn't they still build, but just?
They can still
Yeah,
build,
it just
as
makes
it's
them
stated
5-acre
now.
lots, yeah.
They're just seeing if they can take the opportunity to go to R2.
I'm reluctant to make that designation because I just feel like, again, we're changing the, you know, we're changing the look of the city pretty quickly with for my taste, not enough speculation and, you know.
Jamie, thoughts, concerns, questions?
The same as Bob and Sandy in that we're cutting up areas that are designated RR5.
Yeah.
And if we continue to do that,
Right.
I think the compromise is you get shoreland that abuts to both of these different areas. So you get the 1 acre small lots and then you get the larger lots, so you get that mix.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go RR2, how far down the line south does it continue to go RR2?
I hear you.
Or even to the other side where the river
Ro-
runs?
Robin?
And I guess just one comment, and this is not to persuade anybody one way or the other, but just a little bit of backstory, and this goes for all of them, but we did, you know, again, a number of years ago, we did have shoreline R1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and then it was all wiped clean, and everything was designated as R5. And so now we're kind of in this awkward transition of, hey, how do we kind of go backwards? Because I don't think having just two designations is maybe good for any city. And so it's, you know, it's always asking the question of, okay, how do you take steps backwards when everything was designated
That
as
makes-
far?
That makes sense.
Are there conditions placed on this as far as like tree removal, you know, any kind of conditions?
Yes, we can put conditions on it.
But I mean, you can't dictate how many trees someone's gonna rip out of there. If they have to put a house on a building pad or where they're gonna put their house, you can't tell them, you can't take that tree down. Robin?
Thank you. I'm leaning towards leaving them 5 acres because it's really, you have the beautiful Lakeshore, that has the 1 acre, and around these properties is large acreage. So I'm leaning towards the 5 acres.
Okay. And after further exploration myself and hearing from other people, I would have to say that I'm still in that 5 acre camp too. I kind of feel like we opened up a can of worms when we told one person they could do it, and it made sense there. It was an optimal, prime, unique circumstance, and now this is just kind of the repercussions of what we have to deal with.
I think the Galloways was a different situation.
That's right. It was a unique, different situation.
But I think that's what's important on our long-term planning. Yep. Let's get this right.
Since I'm not supposed to do this, but since you were late, I will literally give you 2 minutes.
Council Mayor, first Jordan Chenard, KLD Surveying, 1120 Industrial Park Road. I was on the agenda, the meeting was at 7 on the online packet that I've always been scheduled, and I've never gotten.
Should be
informed of this
6
change.
since we changed it since.
I just looked on the way over because I pulled over because Mike actually
Gosh
called
darn
me and he said, hey, it sounds like the meeting started. I said, let me pull over, and I went on the online. I actually could probably pull it up on my phone, and it's just the whole year's schedule with the city council, or else I would never have been late to this. I was sitting at the house with the kids and would have came over here.
You're good.
100%. Can I have a couple minutes to give the background of this, or is this?
Yeah, you've got what's in green.
All right, so this whole started last year. Mike's Cunningham, he's lived here, grew up here. We started out with River Trail Road, which was when we were working with the Planning and Zoning Department, and they had presented the future land use map amendment of the rural res 2. That kind of kicked off the whole plating process, and we were pushing into, the whole reason we even did the 5 acre lots and split them was for the future to change into that 2, which was, we were kind of behind it, working with Paul of kind of pushing this forward a little bit. And that's when obviously that land use future map amendment was done. It was done in 2018, so it was a very recent study. It wasn't something that was done in 1990 of this huge future plan. This is very current. And obviously across the road is 1 acre lots. And besides the 2 big landowners there, you go to the south and there's a lot of rural res 5. They're all 1 acre lots, and then they're 4 acre lots. So, we felt with working with the Planning Commission, starting last year, the year before with this, that this was kind of the picture. And obviously coming in with a preliminary plat with this rezone 2, we just wanted to give the council the whole idea of, hey, this isn't something where we're asking you guys for a rezone to say, hey, here's 23 acres, you rezone this, and we might show you one thing and then pull the rug and split this into 11 lots. This has been a 2-year plan that Mike has invested a road into, a bypass lane, a turn lane, and it was all, obviously been working with the Planning Commission this whole time, or the Planning and Zoning with this, and these are 4 acre lots, 2.5 acre lots, 3 acre lots, so it's not, like what you guys were talking about this other one. I wish there was a 2 to 5 thing, and there's a lot of zoning in these cities around that go to this 2.5, and this was kind of, hey, we're gonna keep this a nice big development where you have your 4 acre lots, your 3 acre lots, your 2.5, and from what we have from the plat from before to now, I mean, as far as for the neighbors and stuff, we're only adding 1 more neighbor on the external, or else the other 3 lots are all internal, and 3 of them, or they're all coming off of the road that Mike has built in there. And that's just kind of a background. Like I said, Mike grew up in this city, has kids that live in the city, and he just wants to invest his time to make a nice development in here. And we've been working on it with you guys and the Planning Commission for the past 1.5 years, and this is kind of where we've been led. But obviously this is rezoning, something that is up in the air with that. But
thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. Listening to that and seeing or hearing what kind of transpired, does anyone have any second thoughts or further questions?
Yes, now I do have second thoughts. Well, I mean, just because it sounds like they're not strictly all 2 acre lots, there's some larger lots, and I appreciate the fact that there's already been a road built to accommodate these. And I know that we do need housing. I mean, I know that that is something that the city needs, and I don't want to discount that. So I'm on the fence right now.
Any further discussion amongst council members? Robin? Are you still good? Doing good?
So I keep going back to, I feel like we have so much work to do to, what does the 2-acre lots look like? I would really like to have a floor plan, going forward as how we can, instead of stumbling and stalling you all from your great work. If you can and hold off on your 5 and come back in 6 months when we have hopefully our team meeting, but
We'll
I don't
see
know.
what happens, but I know these guys want to get selling these lots now. I don't think they're gonna sadly hold out and wait to see what we do on our timeline, but I feel like it's pretty clear in the fact of flipping between the two of what the proposed plat looks like now with RR5 mixed in with Shoreland and the platted 5 with the Shoreland and the proposed platted RR2 with Shoreland. I feel like there's a pretty good layout. Are you saying you want clarification going down the road of what a benefit of 2-acre versus 5-acre would be?
Well, I think it's part of our strategic planning.
Okay.
I would stick with 5 acres until we do our strategic planning.
Okay. Bob, or Jamie?
I'm still on the RR5.
I'm still in 5. Bob?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful development, and I compliment you on the way it's turning out, but I would also stay with R5.
Sandy?
I'm inclined to let them proceed, so.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor?
So moved that this will stay at R5 on this portion of the development.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second with Mr. Knapp. Any further discussion, last minute discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Shar?
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy? No. Robin?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, in lieu of how that was voted on, the next 2 items, or the preliminary and final plat of River Trail Road, is not in need of discussion tonight.
So
we'll-
F4F is out?
F4E and F4F.
Yeah, and G.
F4G is,
Recommendation for
Oh,
park
yes, and G.
dedication of the replat.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Yep,
okay.
and G.
Yep.
And G.
E, F, and G would be removed. All right, then we are going to move on to a second reading of an ordinance amendment adding a mixed-use district, addition to definitions, architectural standards, and changes to the land use table, followed by accompanying verbiage being affected by the proposed ordinance amendments and application procedure and requirements.
Do you want to pan through that real quick, or do you just want me to do it?
I can do it.
Okay,
Let
thank
me
you.
grab. TJ, if you want to swap me over.
Who's ready
So then we created the mixed-use district. The purpose of this district is to provide the ability to be diverse in the multi-use at the present time, as well as allowing the use to be interchangeable in the future. This district also is to accommodate personal storage buildings with performance standards established as in Article 28 and 29, along with Section 26-282. And then, so some of the big other changes, so we just, obviously, along with adding a mixed use, there's just a lot of administrative changes that come with it, adding MU to our land use table. One thing that was discussed and was put into the first reading that I know got administratively changed since then was adding personal storage building, making that a performance-based permit versus a conditional use. So we changed that. If you go to page 9, number 3, outside storage is prohibited unless stored within a 6-foot high maintenance-free fence no greater than 12 feet from the structure. That was added, again, that was voted on or put in the first reading, but it was an administrative change that got added after the fact. Number 4, the hookup of a septic system and well is permissible for an established business use along with personal storage building. That would be for the industrial. Both those items read the same in the mixed use district. Okay. Public right-of-way frontage was changed to 35.
And I think planning and zoning is gonna dig into that more, correct?
Yes,
Thank you.
it is gonna get changed,
But
but
for
we are
now,
gonna
right.
do a little bit of digging on it.
Placeholder for now.
Yep.
Thank you, Paul.
And then, again, a couple of administrative changes, just adding mixed-use district into some of our items. Really, a lot of this is going to stay reading what limited commercial is stated.
Okay.
We took off, we had added on the verbiage for glass in the limited commercial and industrial. That was voted to get removed. So we removed glass on any front facade should be a minimum of 5% within non-front facades, consisting of a minimum of 2.5%. So that has been removed.
Thank you.
And that is for the industrial and the mixed use. And then what was added to the definitions, again, this was in the first reading, but administratively changed. Entertainment space, an area within a personal storage building, is meant for recreational use, but not to be used for a single-family dwelling, multi-family dwelling, or two-family dwelling, or in general any dwelling unit. No long or short-term living/rental is allowed. And then this was also discussed. This is a little bit off topic from the mixed use, but in our land use ordinance, we had wanted to change our timeline to be consistent with the rest of our ordinance, stating from the date of publication versus 30 days from approval.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you,
Those were
Paul.
all of the changes.
I think, council members, is there any further questions? And we'll start down at Robin's End.
I don't. I think great work by everybody, including.
Good job for wrapping this up, Paul. Thank you. Bob?
Page 9, item 4, when it talks about outside storage, that was also supposed to say no greater than the length of the building.
Oh, yes, you are correct. You are correct.
Apologize. No greater than the length of the building.
Correct.
I have no further questions. Mr. Knapp, do you have any further questions?
I have no further questions.
Ms. Farter?
I just want to reiterate how impressed I am with how hard Paul and, Cheryl have worked on this, and, thank you.
You finally put this problem child to bed. It's been a thorn in our side since last year. And that is going to need,
So do you need a motion?
and we do, because now it's the second reading.
I move to approve the ordinance number 393, the changes therein.
I'll second.
There's a motion, there's a second by,
To publish it in summary form.
In summary form.
Publish it.
Jamie, you're still a second?
Yes.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Last minute questions? Seeing no further discussion, Shar, please take the roll.
Sandy?
Yes?
Robin?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then aye.
All right, last item. So last month, it was asked of me to put together some proposed changes to our last land use map amendment checklist, or just maybe some more ideas for when developers come in, what is required. And so from a land use perspective, some of the things that myself and our planning commission came up with was proposed use. And so everything on the right is going to be in addition. Proposed use, proposed lot locations, and proposed streets and walkways.
Cool.
And so we still, and this might be a good discussion for the
group.
committee that's set up. But the big question is how much does the city want the developers to invest in their project for the land use map amendment? Because there is also a preliminary plat
Right.
and final plat process to follow this. This is always the first step. So what does the city want to require of the developers financially, and time-wise upfront. And so a proposed use, proposed lot locations, and proposed streets and walkways, I thought was a reasonable ask.
Very.
It'd give you guys
I think so.
far more information, at least knowing or having an understanding of what they're proposing to do with it versus, just giving basic information, so.
I mean, the
Thanks,
more-
Paul. It
The more
looks-
information we have up front.
Right, it looks great.
Easier it is to make a decision, so.
We did put it as a council motion, but I don't know if we need to make a motion if we want to push this off to.
I don't think so.
Committee. I don't know if we're in a big rush for it.
Right, I don't think we're in a rush, but I like the direction that we're
Unless you
going.
guys wanted to actually put this on the checklist as of today.
I'm fine.
I'm
with
fine with that. If we're gonna put it on the checklist, let's do a motion.
Yep.
If it's gonna go on the checklist.
I move to add these 3 items to the land use map amendment checklist.
Second, any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Shar?
Robin?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie? Yes. Sandy?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And one more just quick item, just based on that. So based on all of the discussions and all the ordinance changes around everything else, we changed some of our, just some of the verbiage on our application for commercial and industrial. And we didn't add anything, we just made things more apparent. We have a checklist on the very back page of our commercial application. Sorry, I had a lot of agenda items.
I think Cheryl's gonna come in clutch here and save you.
Oh, I think, well, that wouldn't be the first time. Thank you.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we've always had on the back our checklist for the requirements for what they put on their site plan. We just brought a couple of those forward just to make it even more evident that they need to bring these in for a commercial and industrial plan. And the things we added as far as checklist would be a floor plan and architectural elevation plans and colored, because we do want to look at colors. That was a big discussion as far as architectural standards. They don't necessarily need to bring in a color, but they need to at least address what colors they're going to be putting on there and have some sort of a colored map, or, a
Sample.
sample.
I mean, the higher standards we have, the
Nice
less
call.
less grief we're going to encounter.
Good job.
Yeah, just so you guys are aware that, we've made those, we've brought those forward and just made it more evident, so.
Good job.
That is it.
Appreciate it. Mr. Jordan, are you on the Zoom tonight? Did you get to be entertained?
I am, yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing to add on our end, no.
Man, I almost think you have an easy job sometimes. All right, let's move forward to public forum. Does anyone have any last minute public forum? Come on up, Kathy.
First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve on EDA. I'm looking forward to sharing my knowledge of how we got to where we're at now. And I also want to thank Michael Connell and Lakes Foundation for doing all the hard work on the trails.
Oh, he disappeared, but hey, that's okay. That's okay.
But thank you again.
Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate it.
Look forward to working with you on there.
I am too.
Yeah.
Do we have anything with pickleball, Peter? No? Come on up.
One last thing.
What do we got?
Again, I'll keep it brief too, a minute on each. One is, appreciate the council actually taking the time to think through these issues of R2 versus R5. One thing I want you to consider moving forward is the strategic plan. Strategic plans should not sit on shelves. They should be utilized, and there should be goals associated with them, and they should be utilized regularly. If you need some help with that, I'm willing to volunteer my business expertise on that to help you guys get there. So I'll just throw that out there.
Keep you in mind.
Yep, the second is regarding what Jake brought up on the signs.
Yeah.
Being a guy who's a lawn care guy, and I know they stick signs everywhere, one thing to consider is, and I agree with him 100%, and I'm not putting signs out. I just contact people through the digital media. But we've got a giant jumbotron when you drive through Cross Lake. And that's always been distracting. If you're gonna pull signs, there's one to consider.
The
on top of the other
Jumbotron
ones.
south of 3?
Oh, my God.
So that's
It's
not
so
even,
bright.
that's not even in Cross
Oh, that's
Lake.
not Cross Lake?
So we have
Okay.
no jurisdiction. Cross Lake has an ordinance of no electronic
Okay.
rotating
All right.
signs, and
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it that way.
That thing's gigantic, so I didn't know if that was still Cross Lake or not, but.
No.
Okay.
No, right over, a tickle over the line.
Then I will let you be.
Perfect. Any other last minute public forum agenda items? Come on up, come on down. Larry?
Yes, Larry Allen. Do I have to do that again?
No, you're good.
Okay. The growth committee is a good idea.
Yep.
I think if the comprehensive plan is followed properly, you're supposed to update it yearly.
Yes, it needs a big updating.
And be using it. I mean, is
yes,
kind of what this is, but also with this committee that you're talking about, you should maybe have some citizens on it.
Oh, there's.
There will be, there's
Yep.
already two that have been,
Just laymen
Yep.
or whatever you want to
Layman.
call it. Thank you.
You're more sophisticated than layman. Come on up, or whoever, it's a line, come on down, I know we're exciting.
just you, Jackson.
Just me.
Jared Johnson, 3J Development. I just want to thank you guys, thank the planning and zoning on getting our issues resolved. I know it's taken a long time, but I think we're finally in agreement. There was give and take on everything on both sides, and I appreciate finally getting to the point where we can move on. and
Thank
get
you,
building.
Jared, me
So,
too.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
I don't know if I can talk about, I guess I'm just looking.
You can talk about it.
Okay, I was just looking for a little input on your guys' end.
Yeah.
Just do with the River Trail Road or the first edition of that zoning stuff.
Yep.
Just from some of your comments on the other stuff about the trees and the buffer zones, I'm just curious if you guys have any interest in if there was covenants put on the plat, you know, knowing that it was gonna be following the rezone with buffer zones or something like that, that you guys would be more in favor of looking for. Obviously, the 5 acre lots versus 2.5 acres, there's a big cost difference in,
Yeah.
you know, the selling point of them. 2.5 is just a more welcoming spot. I mean, I know I'm not gonna be going to buying a 5 acre thing, but we're just trying to figure out some of your concerns. Obviously, this is a very flat top where that stuff is. So as far as tree clearing and stuff for grading, it's really, you know, you get your driveway in there, there's not hills and stuff to make this wide open. And we're just looking for maybe a little input, or if this is just something that is not.
I think right now with the starting of the committee is that's what they will be digging into, and I can't commit to a time frame yet, and I know you guys want to get going and I understand, but I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket trying to vie for something that might be 6 months down the road.
Yeah, is that, just that future land use, is that kind of what you guys are gonna go back into again? I know that was done in
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah, that was right, exactly what you said, 2018, just future land use, where is some smart growth, smart development.
Yep,
Of
yep.
where it should be within the city.
What are our real needs?
What, exactly.
Okay.
So, I hate to say I just wouldn't wager all your chips on that.
No, definitely, and at that point, I mean, it was just, like I said, it was just something that I was looking for some input if there was a big key thing of, hey, you know, we really don't want tree clearing on these lots, or if it's, we just want bigger lots, obviously.
Right.
Mike's trying to hit that price point for.
And that's what makes it tough. I understand, you know, we're trying to provide housing, and there's some groups that don't want housing, there's some groups that do, and the cost, and it is a tough decision when it comes to council, but.
Yeah, and again, I apologize about coming in late, like I
No,
said.
it's
that was-
okay, it was obviously a clerical error,
I
so.
hope that we can maybe just, in the future, I guess, for that, as long as, you know, for any applicant that are on these agendas, if there's updates on stuff like this, I guess this is the second time of this process that I've, you know, been
Yeah.
in a spot that I was at for the time of the scheduled meeting, and I was never informed at it, and I just was. sitting
No, it
there.
seems like it was an accidental publish from planning and zoning, and.
Okay, I just, obviously, I
Yeah.
feel like that played a little effect in this too, but
No,
I just appreciate your guys' comments
I
on
hear
this
ya.
and your guys' help.
Thank you,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. All right, City Attorney, public forum. Is there any other last-minute public forum? All right, I'm going to close public forum. New business. Does any council member have any new business?
I do. I have a concern about our public forum on the beginning of the meeting and the deadline of Wednesday noon. I'd like to see open discussion for folks that have a rebuttal or a opposing view on the topics of the people that did plan ahead for the Wednesday. So I don't know what we do with that, but I just feel like that Wednesday noon is a tough call for people. I would like to even just, if we need a deadline, I would rather have the agenda published. People that know by end of Friday that they want to come and speak, if we have a list of people for our own awareness to know the, the topics or whatever. I don't know. I'm just looking for ideas. I've had constituents say that Wednesday noon just is kind of wonky, and how do you know what other people are going to talk about? So you want to be prepared to be able to speak on your opinion.
I guess I personally haven't heard any complaints about it yet, but I hear your point. I get your point. The whole idea of restructuring public forum was because we get people, even though I'm going to get good at using this gavel, we had people that would drawn on and go on in the beginning, and they'd go on at the end. And not that that's not okay, but I'm trying to be efficient and move stuff along. That was put like that to try to increase efficiency, and we kept the public forum at the end of the meeting to allow for questions, comments, concerns of clarification. I feel like we're slowly starting to get into the pattern of public forum, of starting to address and get put on if you want to talk. Usually the people who are talking at public forum do have an understanding that they have a shared interest on something that is on the agenda or going to be on the agenda.
I think when Ms. Slack was here last month, there was a person on the agenda speaking about the election, and then she was in the audience. She was going to speak about it as well, but because her name wasn't on the list, and then another constituent actually came up after she spoke on the end of the meeting and said that really wasn't, it was kind of wonky, that wasn't really fair. So I just really think, I'd like to see, I don't know, I'd like to see public forum in the beginning of the meeting open, maybe limit or sign up at the table or by end of day Friday, just so we know who notified us.
Go ahead.
That's the purpose.
It's still going to be a matter of people getting used to that change. I mean,
Right.
are the people going to know to do that at the beginning of the meeting? What if they decide, 2 items in, oh, now I want to, and will
Well,
they get the chance to
that's
sign up still?
Exactly,
And
kind
it's
of.
just change. It's just change.
I mean, Char, I would agree with you, because then you could say, if someone posts, their name on the agenda and it gets published on Friday, and then someone sees something on Monday and they want to, then it's just a tag team of going back and forth after one another, if that makes sense. When do you put the limit on there? I mean, I personally like the way it's kind of set up right now, just for efficiency and formality and just being respectful of saying, hey, this is why I want to approach you. Usually we know what's happening, but I hear your point. Is there any other council members' thoughts on that?
I mean, my only thought is that if it's an item that, a person wasn't aware that it was going to be on the agenda until Friday, and then it's too late to address it, and it's addressed by somebody else in the audience who somehow knew that it was going to be on the agenda, is there room for a rebuttal?
I mean, I would say that would come down to, the mayor's or discretion.
Because, I mean, there's an open forum at the end, but if it's something that's going to be voted on, then they don't have a chance.
No, and that part I understand.
I mean, if you could leave room for a rebuttal that's pertinent to a particular agenda item, then I think maybe that's
That I
your
understand.
discretion,
Nope.
Mayor Perfers.
That I understand. Jamie? Bob?
You're always going to have to make exceptions, I think.
I think so too.
There could be somebody that walks in for the first time, something important, they've never been to a council meeting before, they don't understand how it works.
Right.
You're going to have to
bend
the rules maybe.
No, I hear you, and that's kind of where I'm at. Robin, just to appease, I would say, let's just move it to Friday, but we're gonna keep it to Friday.
I appreciate that.
And then we can, go ahead.
What time do you put the agenda out?
Thursday morning.
So Thursday we start, so then I think we're just gonna keep it at, the end of day Friday at 5, because the packets come out Thursday morning.
So people won't be listed on the agenda if they're going to speak in open forum?
No, they'll be on here.
Not if she sends
Not
it
if-
back.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's okay, though. You're giving people an option to look at it and see, do I have anything to speak on with the topics here? I think that's our goal, right, is to have open engagement with our citizens before we make decisions on topics.
Throw them on as an addition to the agenda in red? I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the way it's running right now.
I do like,
Oh,
An addition in the red.
And it's not that we don't want people to speak, but it's just formality.
sure. Okay, how about a compromise here? Stay with Wednesdays, get the names of the people on here, but then put a sheet of paper back there. If anybody wants to speak on the beginning open forum, put your name down here, and we can figure out, do we have time? I mean,
no, I don't agree with that. No, I think that it should be submitted so that if anything, that Char could add it in red for an addition.
Right.
But not,
Okay.
not the.
add it in red then,
Right.
Friday?
I mean, if that costs me the election, it costs me the election.
Noon Friday then?
What?
Is the deadline noon Friday?
Yeah, noon Friday.
All right, I'll make a motion, so we got it on record. I'd like to make a motion that public forum, item B on the regular council agendas will have a deadline of noon on Fridays before the Monday meeting to put their name in for the topic they want to speak on.
And I'll second that.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Any further discussion? No further discussion. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. Ayes have it. Any other new business? Sandy?
Nope.
Jamie? Nope. Bob?
Nope.
Robin?
No, thank you.
No, I have new business, but the governor did say he would do a sit-down here, so we will see what happens and what comes of that.
Can you be more specific, a sit-down?
A sit-down, a round table with 7 other local mayors here at the city hall. Still trying to figure out if it's going to be public or private or not.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
For your information, Representative Davis would like to attend. I don't know if he's reached out to you, but
We'll
the
see
nose.
what happens. Any old business? Ongoing old business? Seeing no old business? Sandy, take the motion.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.
We need help setting up for the election
got it.
tomorrow.
We got it.
help setting up with election tomorrow?
Do it.
Vote.